Hey, beautiful souls, and welcome to Around the Kitchen Table, a space for honest conversations, stories from the heart, and gentle reminders that we're all walking each other home. I'm Laura Island, mother, creative, soul-led CEO of Sacred Sister CIC, and the woman behind Wise Sacred Woman. I'm a witch with ADHD, and this podcast is where we gather to share the real, raw, and radiant parts of life. Each week, we'll explore what it means to live in rhythm with ourselves, with nature, and with one another. We'll talk about womanhood, sisterhood, creativity, leadership, spirituality, and the messy magic of being a human. So pour yourself a cuppa, get comfy, and let's meet here around the kitchen table, where stories are medicine and every voice belongs.
Welcome. You have caught me around the kitchen table. In fact, not around the kitchen table. I'm in my office. It's flipping warm. It's still flipping warm. It is how life is. I was just saying, maybe we just have to accept this is summer, right? Like, is it too warm? Is it just summer? Do we just have to get used to it? I don't know. But welcome to Around the Kitchen Table. This week I have a guest. I love a guest. It's great. I had a guest last time too because I forgot to do one last week at all. So it's like 2 weeks ago we had a guest. Now we've got another guest. This guest I have been kind of following. You'll get a theme here because I was kind of stalking the last one before I reached out to them as well, and I was kind of a little bit the same with this one. I was kind of a little bit stalkerish because I just one day the algorithm made her pop up on my feed. And you know when someone speaks language that you just get and you understand, and everything she said, I was like, "Yep, that's me. Yep, that's me. Yep, that's me." And so it really inspired me listening to her. And so we jumped on a call, we had a chat, and today I'm going to record with her because it feels really, really important to bring this message to you. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Becky. Becky is known as the Empower Coach, and I'm not going to introduce you too far. You can jump on and do all that good stuff. Let me just make sure I've got all the bits in place. Go for it, lovely. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Here
Hey,
I
hey!
am.
One of those moments where the other day I just suddenly went, "Oh no, we had that chat ages ago, and we still haven't recorded that podcast." Time just flies and goes on and on and on, right?
Yeah, absolutely does. And then before you know it, you're like, how is it this date already?
Yeah, we've just gone into July. It's like madness, utter madness. So
Yeah.
why don't you start just by telling us more about you and your journey? I mean, I know it's kind of like that's a really big encompassing question, but like what got you to where you are?
Great question. I'll try and like not like ramble
You
on
can
too
ramble. We
much.
love a ramble. Anyone who
Um,
watches this podcast knows we do a lot of
oh
rambling.
well,
A
okay,
ramble is
okay,
fine. You're very
perfect.
welcome.
We'll settle in then. Well,
Settle
uh,
in, definitely.
so I am an anti-diet coach. I coach women like usually over 30 that want to like break diet culture for good. You know, the kind of women that has been struggling, being on or off a diet their whole lives, feel uncomfortable in your body, feel like food is just overwhelming, that constant noise in your head of like either thinking about food or body checking. Like that is the person that I help. And the reason why I help that person is because I was her. I basically became the coach that I needed through my own journey. Like I grew up in the 90s, noughties, like, the heights of heroin chic and all that stuff. So I'm an 80s baby. Um, and it's probably hit me probably in the 90s and stuff. I was like most people, bullied at school and stuff. I was a bit of a misfit, didn't really fit in. And because of that, I guess now looking back, I kind and I because I talk about this quite a lot, I've kind of put the dots together of like obviously I was reading the magazines where the popular people were skinny and they looked a certain way, and it was like, and we were sold this idea that the thin ideal meant success, it meant beauty, it meant acceptance. So I started to like basically I started to heavily restrict my food, and try and get away with eating as less as possible. My parents, well, my mum started to notice when she asked me when was the last time I had my period, and I couldn't remember because like it was that bad. I never got diagnosed with anything. Like a lot of people back then, the doctors didn't really care. They were just like, "Oh, she's fine. She'll eat." Like it was that kind of attitude. But luckily, I had supportive parents and my sister as well. So I kind of started to overcome those issues. I started to eat more, but I still had a really bad relationship with food and a really bad relationship with my body. I was really shy, really unconfident. Like I couldn't look people in the eye. I used to walk around like people were like, "No, you're not like that." I was like, "Yeah, I was." So I had low self-worth, low self-esteem, low confidence. Um, but through like my 20s and my 30s, I started to like really work on myself. First of all, it was like the food relationship. Then I started getting into exercise. I did then fall into the obsessive behavior though of like over exercising and heavily like I suppose calorie counting to like a T and stuff like that. So I went, it still was there, that poor relationship with food, even though I was like, oh no, I'm being healthy now because I'm exercising and I'm doing this. It still was not right. And what actually like made the change for me was starting to work on my mindset. When I started to look at like actually health is holistic. It's not just about food, it's not just about exercising, it's about your mind as well. Like, and I think that always gets forgotten about the emotional and mental health side of it. So that's when I started to look at that side, and that's when everything started to click together. To the point now where probably the most confident I've ever been. I'm happy in my body. I don't track food anymore. Like I know what works for me. I have a healthy balance because I don't believe that we should demonize and cut out foods. It all has its place. And that's kind of brought me, yeah, it's very quick. Like there was a lot of ups and downs throughout that journey, but it's basically to what brought me to where I am now and why I want to help the kind of women that I do.
Sure, amazing, amazing. I just said to you, like my mum, when I was a teen, I'd go like, "I'm on a diet, mum," and she'd be like, "What color?" It would be like, there would be so many, and I also kind of look back. I mean, you say you're an 80s baby, it makes me feel really old. I'm like, oh my God, no.
Oh
You go.
no.
So like, I was born in 75. I'm like just about to turn 51, and I can remember from such a young age being in a body that I didn't feel comfortable in, like you say, the school bullying, then like not fitting in. Now I know more about my neurodiversity. I think to myself, wow, if I'd have known then what I know now, like about me, I could see why I probably had that relationship. But it was just like you say, trying to fit in, trying to be the cool kid, trying to like, I didn't fit in with the cool kids, I didn't fit in with the geeky kids. And I was always bigger. And I always said I wasn't born to be a racing whippet. I've got really big hips and shoulders, like I just wasn't, I've got massive hands. They made me a really good massage therapist. No weight loss was going to change that. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like massive feet, like, but I still had this kind of vision in my head that I had to do it. And like you say, you grow up in the magazines, you grow up in the thing. And I think if we look at, for me, it was like looking at my mum. Like my mum used to go simultaneously to Weight Watchers on a Monday and Slimming World on a Wednesday. I'm like,
Really?
which one are you following, mum? Do you know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
was actually more about social,
Yeah.
like it was her social life. It's where they like her little club. She's still now in her 70s got the people that she went to fat club with. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it was more about socializing, I think. And
Yeah.
and at that moment, like in terms of like for her, but even then, I can remember like they were just all trying to reach somewhere, reach
Mm.
something, get somewhere, look different somehow, and find ways to connect kind of with each other. So I think there's that diet culture, yeah, is like so nuanced in all of its different kind of angles.
Yeah, absolutely is. It comes in lots of different ways. And yeah, generational as well, like as you mentioned. It's been going on for generations, a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. And I guess that leads kind of to like this day and age, like
Yeah.
my daughter's the same build as me. She's got the same issues as I've had, and she has a different relationship to food because she's really kind of clued up again because
Ah,
she's been brought up by me, I guess.
yeah.
And so she's got a kind of like balanced ideal, but she's got loads of intolerances. She's also like restrictive in other ways, and she gets really freaked out in other ways. So I can see
Mm.
how there's like so many like aspects to, now food is a thought, but not because of weight. Food is a thought about, oh my God, what can I eat? What can I put in my body?
Yeah.
What does that look like? It's still food noise, like either which way. It's still that mindset of like, oh my God, it's all consuming, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like I remember when I was, yeah, like having those all consuming like and it's really hard to explain. Like it does like take up every single waking moment of your thoughts. That's all I could explain it. It's like when I was in it and it's like, okay, if I have this for breakfast, it's like you're doing mental maths the whole time, like with the calorie
Yeah.
counter. Like if I have this now, could I have that later? Or like I'm going out this weekend, so maybe I should restrict more heavily. Like it's constant. And I always say to people, like, you don't recognize how much energy it actually takes from you until you stop.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you've got intolerances, it's coming out in a different way. But for diet culture, yeah, it takes so much from you. Stealing your joy. It is stealing your joy, basically.
Yeah, that's really funny. I just pulled a card before we sat down and it was joy.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, because I think you're right. Like you say, it is stealing your joy. You kind of consider like whether you go. I always say like live by an 80-20 rule, right? Like
Yeah.
80% of the time, like do what you need to do to, but 20% of the time, just piss it up the wall and have some fun. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise,
Yeah.
it becomes a real thing, like you say, where you're so focused.
Yeah, you have to live at the end of the day. And that's why I always talk to my clients about va values as well. I'm like, well, what do you value in life? Because if you're telling yourself, like, like, I'm gonna lose weight and I'm not gonna eat this and I'm not gonna eat that, then you're like, your mates want to go out for a brunch, and you're like, oh, no, I can't go. Or you don't want to be that person that takes their own like Tupperware to the place.
Yeah.
Like, because you're missing out on the joy, on the moments. And that's fills your cup like emotionally, as I said, like the mental aspect of your health as well. And you need to look at it as a whole picture because otherwise, like you're just not present in those moments and you're missing out on the memories and the things that actually matter.
Yeah. And you just mentioned emotional there. Like I think that's such a big impact to weight, right? Like
Yeah.
I can I can witness my body. If you're like holding back, you're having a really emotional time and you don't cry, then you have a bloody good cry. I
Yeah.
swear I lose literally pounds when I look in the mirror of like, oh wow, like that's gone down. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've literally sobbed my heart out. And it really makes me feel into things like inflammation and
Mm.
emotions and other things that we carry in our body. It's not just about the food that we put in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, the stress, and it all like has an emotional impact because it does impact your habits, it impacts your behaviors. So if you're someone that's like stressed, obviously then you're not sleeping, and then not sleeping affects your blood sugar levels. So then you crave all the sugary food. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just a cycle of like.
Yeah,
So this is why you need to look at everything holistically because there's no point even trying to get your exercise and food in place if you're not looking after the mental side and the emotional side as
yeah,
well.
yeah. And what would you say, like with the things that you hear from most of your clients, what would you say are like the top things that you hear from
That they
them?
that they struggle with or like
Yeah.
so definitely the biggest up there is definitely the inner critic, so the negative self-talk, which I do talk a lot about on my Instagram because it's a learned voice. There's a
Yeah.
theory called body objectification theory that was done by Fredrickson and Roberts in 1997, and that talks about like how in Western cultures where women are more sexualized, that we were talked about as objects, and women was talked about as objects, and so we've learned to talk to ourselves in the same way, and it's really
Mm,
interesting because you can see how that's come about where that voice comes from because you now it's like okay that's not actually me speaking, it's something that I've learnt and picked up along the way, and you
yeah.
can see it in the magazines that we grew up with, them picking women's and scrutinizing women's bodies, like the circle of shame and like the media talking about women's bodies in a certain way. It's
Yeah.
always been prevalent, so that's
And
just one.
now,
Yeah.
and now also, sorry, I just like as you
No.
said about magazines, I was like, but now it's not even real, right? Because
Yeah.
like most of them are airbrushed to an inch of their life or AI anyway. So it's like we're still trying to like fit ourselves up to something that's not even real, let alone like an ideal.
I know. And do you know what is even like gets to me now? There's coaches out there that are apparently using AI to do before and after pics.
What?
Yeah. And this is why it's like there's a lot of trust gone in the industry and I can see why. Because it's like if you've got coaches doing that, like where's your like what's the word I'm looking for? Uh oh, I can't think, like, when it like be why are you not being true to yourself, and what, like, if you actually care about people and care about helping people, you wouldn't be putting stuff out there like that, because it's just taking advantage of people. In mind, integrity, that was the word I was looking for. Where's your
Yeah,
integrity? So like, to me, it just, I just like hate to hear that that there's actually people trying to, like, they're selling off the back of these, and like people that are already feeling very vulnerable, that are usually at that point when they're coming to us for help.
sure.
And it just drives me mad that this is happening out there. And yeah, there's videos of people selling, like, obviously lots of supplements that, like, I was going to swear. Can I swear?
I mean, I do quite frequently. Don't worry about that. Like, if we're not here to be our authentic self, what does that
So
mean?
I just like making to make sure. But there's a lot of bullshit supplements out there that we don't need, especially selling to vulnerable women that are hitting perimenopause, menopause. And there's a lot of these videos there, completely AI, and they're selling like powders, or like, join this subscription and you'll get, you lose weight, and it's all AI of these like transformations.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like, no wonder people aren't knowing what to believe and to trust anymore.
yeah. And it's again, it's hard, isn't it? Because back in the day, as a single mum, one of the ways I raised my kids was to finance them through. There was a company that came over from the States. They were called Visalis, and we did like, it was kind of body by
Oh,
Vi, and so we sold shakes and stuff, and it was kind of, I always felt like there was a part of me that was like, what I loved about it was the community, right? Like,
yeah,
we brought people into community, and it was really good. But the product, of all the products on the market, it was a really good product. But it was like you could still see that you were kind of preying on the ones that were like really there. And it's like we did it very differently. But when you look at them as a company, it was like, and the Slim Fast, and I don't even know if Slim Fast still exists, does it? But
I
like
think it does.
the shake culture was
Yeah,
huge. And it's like, I still drink smoothies now, and I drink juices now, and I drink, the shakes that I make, but like, I make them and they're good for me, and they've got
yes,
good things in them. Do you know what I mean? Usually because I haven't got time to stop and actually eat, and I can just, drink my
yeah. I'm a
berries on
big
the go.
smoothie fan. I'm a big
Yeah.
smoothie fan. That's my morning
Yeah.
bread. That's my breakfast. So,
Exactly.
but again, make it
Exactly.
myself.
But
Lots of
yeah,
fruit. Yeah.
exactly. But it's like you say, there's that preying on the vulnerable in some way,
Yeah.
because of wanting to look or feel a
Mm.
certain way. And I think that's the bit that I find so sad. Like, I'm hearing more and more and more of our younger generation that are self-harming, that are, in a really difficult place mentally, and I don't often hear that it's about um weight as such. It's funny. I think there is a kind of switch of that, but now it's like the things they say are even worse. It's
Yeah.
like, and I think it's like you say. There's this culture. If it's not one thing, it's another. It's another. It's another. But who has the right to speak about how you are in your body? And like you say, that's a kind of the biggest part, is that mindset thing, isn't it? Of like, what can we support people to look and feel like for themselves?
Yeah, and that comes up so often. Like, I was actually just talking to someone in my DMs, because this is another thing that comes up with people, like, do lose weight, or they do change their body composition, but they're still unhappy. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's because you haven't worked on them, like, the mind. You haven't worked on your, like, that inner critic. You haven't worked on finding that love for yourself and acceptance for yourself first, because we live in, especially now with Instagram and social media, we're always
Mm,
told, like, you'll be happy when you'll be happy when your life looks like this. This is what you need to achieve, and it's very, like, obviously based on consumerism,
mm.
and making you, like, if you buy this thing, then your life will change. If you buy this thing, then you'll be happy, and it's just this never-ending cycle. And but obviously they don't make money out of us loving ourselves, do they? So
No, no. What
yeah.
can we do to make money out of that? That would be good, wouldn't it? Like, but it's like that whole reality of empowerment as well, right?
Mm.
So like, you are called the Empower Coach. It's like there's that place of empowerment where I I really find it hard sometimes when I speak to people and it's like they feel like they're an ally or they want to kind of support somebody, but they almost take away their power by getting kind of in front of them and the solution. It's like, so I think there's that empowerment can be such a big bandied around word as well. And it's like, what does tell me what empowerment really means to you? Like, what are we supporting these women to get to?
To like for me, it's being comfortable and confident in your whole self.
Yeah.
Like not like I said, not just physically, it's mentally, emotionally, everything. Like that's what empowerment means to me. And like I love being able to help women get there as well. It when I'm literally like have calls and stuff with them or I'm reading their check-ins, I'm just like, ah! Like I get so excited when I see the breakthroughs because like to me, like to empower others, like you need to be supported. And this is why I'm very big on women supporting women as well, because we've been taught to bring each other down, which is
Yeah.
based around diet culture as well. But it's like, no, we need to come together because I do believe that women are fucking strong, and especially when we're together, especially when we're supporting each other. And I do feel there's this whole thing where they have tried to divide us. And that's not just women, that's across the board, like, class, race, everything, gender. Like, but if we as women can come together and help support each other, what impact is that going to have on communities as well? Like,
Yeah.
massive in my brain. So that's what empowerment means to me. Is like not only empowering yourself, but that will have a ripple effect to empower others.
Definitely. And do you work only with women or do you work with guys as well as most of you work with women?
I mostly work with women. I have worked with guys in the past, but because of the way I work and talk about diet culture, obviously it attracts
Yeah,
women so much more.
totally.
So what I did love is I put on my Instagram the other day. No, it was on Facebook actually because I cross post. And some guy commented like, "I'm trying to do what you're doing for women for men," and I thought that was so beautiful because there is issues with men, and
Totally.
it's not talked about enough, and it's not supported enough. And I was like, "Yes, go you! Like this is amazing! Like love to hear
Yeah.
it."
Absolutely. And I think that it's different, isn't it? Like there's so many things and so many aspects for men. And I'm married to a 6'2" really hairy bear. Do you know what I mean? But like, and I hadn't even dawned on me that going through school, getting hairy, growing, like getting taller, I mean, he now has this massive beard. So like the fact that he's hairy is like great because it's like he's now got a beard. And like I've got friends that are like, I'm so jealous of his beard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like we're never quite happy with what we've got. I think that's the
Yeah.
key. It's like how can you be happy with what you've got in a healthy
Yeah.
way? Like, that's the key, I think. Is I went down a whole rabbit hole not long ago of like, oh, so I have a condition called lipedema. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
about
I do. I've
lipedema.
got a couple of clients with it. So yeah.
Yeah. So this is a brave move. So don't usually do this if you're watching this on YouTube. But basically this is where my arm stops. And the rest of this is lipedema.
Yeah.
So I literally have too many fat cells. It won't matter what I do. It's
Yeah.
like I weigh 16 stone, like, and I'm a size 14. Like that's unusual, right? And when I lost weight, I did lose weight and I got down to like 10 stone. I got down to, sorry, a size like 8 and I was still like 10 stone. So it was like always heavier. And so I gave up with the scales like a long time
Mm.
ago. But I then again, like you talk about diet culture and where you go in these kind of rabbit holes. I then started to like weigh myself every day. And I do weigh myself frequently, but not actually because of the weight. I laugh at like, oh, I ate rice last night. I'm going to be 4 pounds heavier for 3 days. Like I literally know what if I eat carbs or I eat potato because I kind of become obsessed with it in another way. So
Mhm.
it's like there are so many, like if you've got an obsessive kind of, personality, it's like, oh, what now? But it's like we all have, I guess the reason I say that and share that is because we all have different bodies, right?
Yeah.
Like we're comparing ourselves to what? Like we are all unique in our own individual way. And how can we just love each other? And don't get me wrong, I really like my arms are a really big thing. It's really hard to kind of
Yeah.
be okay in your skin.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when we've been taught like you have to look a certain way, you have to be a certain way. And like it blows my mind. Like even though like I get like judged both ways as well. Like because I talk about diet culture as well, people go, well, you can't say about this because you live in like a slim body or like and I'm like, but that's not the point. The point is like it's in your like mind. And whatever you're trying to live up to is never enough. And no matter what size you are, you all have, like, women do have struggles. So
Yeah.
it's not fair. And I'm like, you're doing exactly what I'm talking about by judging a woman on like how she looks. And the other side of it as well is interesting, like, because obviously I go to the gym, I work out, like, 'cause I'm a personal trainer, as well as
Yeah.
like a coach. And I've had people comment saying like, well, you don't look like you can lift heavy. Where's your muscles? And I'm like, and it's so skewed because people think that you're going to look like a
Yeah,
bodybuilder.
totally.
And I'm like, no,
Totally.
actually, that's not, bodybuilding has got its own issues actually as well. And they have to do very strict diet, very, like, sometimes they're on other stuff as well to look that way.
Mm,
And people have lost completely, like, sense of what a normal, healthy body looks like in all its variety of, like, shapes and sizes. It's great, like, when you look at the Olympics actually, and you can see, like, obviously they're sports people, and
yeah.
like the differences in body shape, like, you've got the strong women, or the weightlifters are completely different to the sprinters, like, but we've only got this one idea of what health looks like still. And it's like, well, no, it comes in a variety, and that's what we should
Yeah.
celebrate.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And then I find there are companies like, I'm a dungarees girl. You go look at Lucy
Oh
and
yeah.
Yak, who have got like, who really go out of their way to showcase like other, like different, other kind of body shapes and sizes and able-bodied and,
I love
and
that.
not so able-bodied and skin colors. And like they showcase so much and I love it. And, and it's interesting, isn't it? I think when you surround yourself with more normal women, and I
Yeah,
say that in a normal kind of,
yeah,
everyday kind of, I don't really see, I don't look at magazines. I don't really, so again, it's like, what do you judge yourself against?
yeah.
Because actually, even if you are happy in your body, you can still end up judging yourself against other things if your mindset's not right.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, one of the things I tell my clients to do is curate their feeds to show a variety of women's bodies and women's shapes, especially ones that look like their own.
Yeah.
Especially like influencers that do, like, fashion, like, dressing up in different ways or showing off things. I'm like, put that in your feed, not just one body type, because otherwise you are going to be comparing all the time. But if you can, like, um, was it oh, what's it called again? Oh God, my brain is really foggy
We'll blame
today.
the heat, darling. We'll blame the heat.
Um, but it's like immersive exposure, like,
Yes.
yeah, that kind of, like, you're exposing yourself to more and more, like, stuff, and that's exposure therapy. That's the one.
Yeah.
There we go. I keep getting it. Just give me a minute. I got it. Exposure
Brilliant.
therapy. So, like, curating your feeds, and I'm like, if people aren't bringing you joy, or if there's, like, if you're following someone and then they're starting to, like, not bring you joy, just, like, silence them for a bit. You can, like, unfollow. It's no problem. But, don't get in the trap of things that are bringing you down.
Yeah, really, really. It's funny because when you said that, I was like, wow, my feed's so random. Like there's so many shapes and sizes and amazing. Do you know the girls from Rants and Big Pants?
Oh no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so like they're brilliant. And it's like you say, like my feed is full of the opposite of that,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still really, really aware. And I think that's yeah, it's a hard one. Do you ever think it will change? Like I am seeing slow changes, but like do we ever think we'll and actually one of the things that you just said is it also goes the same the other way, right? It's like
Mm,
where actually I've had friends who are super slim and actually struggle to gain weight and
yeah.
it's the same. They're like people just think that like they'll comment on my weight and my body size, whatever I am, and it's like I think that's one of the things, isn't it? When does it stop becoming the norm to describe someone by how they look, what their body shape is like, what is that all about?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Because and it's, I'd like, some people cut, like, obviously people that are naturally thin get quite a lot of, unfortunately, they get a lot of backlash. So, like you said, your friends and stuff. And I
Yeah.
do have people come on my comments and say, like, oh, they, they always think that I'm attacking them, but because I'm calling out diet culture and the thin idea. And I'm like, no, no, I'm talking about, like, women having to be one body shape. And this is not fair for you guys either, having to, like, explain yourself all the time, or being made comments, having made comments about. Um, so it's like, again, it's being able to see lots of variations of women's bodies, isn't it? Rather than
Mm.
rather than uh that. yeah, because it is unfair that women get naturally thin women get
Yeah,
scrutinized as well.
yeah.
Like, and like you're saying about getting better, like unfortunately, I don't know if it is because we've got like the ultra thin going on at the moment with the catwalk trends, and sorry, on the red carpet with celebrities like losing a lot of weight, which is quite worrying. But I do talk about like how I see in history, like every time women start to gain power, start to rise, as like pushback, and it's like chasing
Mm,
a thin ideal or a body trend. Right now, obviously, like there's a lot going on around women's rights and
mm.
body autonomy, and that worries me. It's like now we're seeing this thin ideal coming back again on the red carpet, and it's still trying to push, but it feel like it's a constant battle. I think because I'm in it and I'm seeing it every day, it feels like a constant
Oh,
battle. But it's hard. But
yeah.
so, at least so many women are coming to me now, going like, "I am done with this. Like, yeah, I want to be strong. I want to be healthy. I want to do it for my old lady body," as they say.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. It's the same people. I mean, I'm knackered today, but people often say to me, "You don't look nearly 51." It's like, what am I supposed to look like?
Yeah,
Like, what, like the turkey neck and that? Do you know what I mean? Like, no, I really do. And there's some days where I really do. But it's like, what does that mean? Like, what am I supposed to look like at 51? You know, like
yeah,
again, I think it's like, how do we break down the reality that it's just not okay to talk about each other's bodies, full stop, whatever
yeah.
it is, you know?
And age as well. It comes. I always say that the anti-aging stuff is diet culture for your face. Like
Yeah,
it feels like you're not allowed to age. You shouldn't be look this way. Like
yeah,
you need to look like this. And it's like, no, fuck off. I want to like age gracefully. I
yeah.
want to recognize my face as I age. That's like that's a privilege to me. Like
Totally.
yeah.
And I guess it's like, tell me I look good, but don't tell me it's like I don't look my age. Like, you know, I'm okay to hear I look. I mean, I'm not because most of us can't even cope with compliments, right? But it's like, you know, like speak in those terms, like lift each other up
Yeah.
rather than like be specific about the one thing or the not, you know, just
Yeah.
but
Totally
how
get
do
you.
we change that kind of reality? And I guess the other thing to kind of bring in a little bit is we talked a little bit about kind of shakes and stuff, but like this jab culture, you know, of
Mm.
like a really a beautiful woman I know is now really struggling with anorexia due
This is,
to you know.
yeah, this is what I worry about. And I've actually got a coach that I know that she's coming on my podcast to talk about. She's specializes in GLP-1s because there's two sides of it. There is the side that it is generally helping people that are like struggling. They've always been overweight, you know, they've got
Yeah,
health complications because of it. So obviously that is great. But there's the other side where it is like either people aren't being screened properly, they're not getting the help that they need, it's not being watched enough. And I've had people come in my DMs and relapsed into EDs or developed EDs because of it.
mm,
And that's the worrying part. And there are people getting it from the black market, like online, so it's not being
100%.
screened. That's dangerous because you don't know what's in it. But
Yeah,
obviously, if it's not being screened and you're not doing the things that you need to do around it, for example, well, weight training, looking at making sure you're getting enough of your fiber in, making sure you get enough protein in, you need to be doing that. Otherwise, you are going to have health implications. But
yeah,
it's like with any extreme weight loss, it's not just the jabs, so any extreme weight loss, it will cause, um, it could impact your bone density. And obviously, as we know, as women, we need that to keep strong. And that
yeah,
really worries me that people aren't seeing that side. I call out the misuse of GLP-1s on my page,
mm,
and I get attacked sometimes by women going like, "No, but it's helped me with the health." And I'm like, I'm not saying that it's not, but we can't not speak about the side of it that could be really serious for people, like
yeah.
like detrimental to people's overall well-being. We can't stay quiet about it. But yeah, that's my view. It really is. It's very nuanced, but from my diet culture background, I just can't not speak up about it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think, you know, my mum and my brother are di both diabetic, so
Yeah.
they've been put on it because of their diabetes. But
Yeah.
my brother said, yeah, I lost a few pounds in the first couple of months. He said, but to be fair, you can still eat. He was like, you know, didn't stop me. Do you know what I mean? So it's like there's all sorts of angles, isn't there, really? And
Yeah.
I think that really proved to me that actually there's also a mind over matter with that as well. It's like, you know, not just do I want to eat, do I feel like eating, like it's suppressed the food noise and all of that stuff,
Mm.
which I know has a big impact on people. But it's also like the reality is if you've got that mindset to be able to use the jabs to go through then you've got the mindset to change your mindset, right? It's
Yeah.
like, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what, like, if you are using them, like, you need to make sure that you are doing this stuff. Like, not just like, oh, okay, I'm on them now and that's fixed everything. It's like, no, actually take the opportunity. If the food noise has gone down, fix your relationship with food. Figure out what's been going on, like on the emotional side, maybe building in those new habits. Weight training is essential if you're on them. Like, I cannot put that across enough. Like, that will help with the bone density and keeping up your muscle mass as well. So it's like, yeah, you need to make sure you are doing these things,
Yeah,
which the doctors recommend to do as well alongside. So,
yeah,
um,
absolutely.
but yeah, and that's kind of, I think, the issue with the whole ultra thin coming in that I did mention is that we're seeing celebrities shrinking a lot at the moment, and a lot of them are using GLP-1s,
Mm,
and but getting painfully thin, and then you're just like, oh no, where's this going?
yeah, 100%. It
Yeah,
is. It's painful. It's painful to watch, and it does. It really saddens me that we can't. Like, how do you support someone in that space? You know, that's the thing I struggle with because it is so nuanced and it is so
yeah,
different for every single woman. The only thing I think that isn't different for every single woman is that we all have a body hang up of some description.
yeah.
Like by nature of being in a body, we're going to dislike it somehow. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, absolutely. And like with that, like, so obviously been through my own journey with that. And I always say to my clients, I was like, the negative thoughts will pop up every now and again, and that's okay. But the difference is, I used to spiral and it would ruin my day. Now it's just like, oh, okay, I feel like that, and just move on. It doesn't affect me anymore. And I think that's the point. Like, 'cause people say, like, oh, what does that look like? And I'm like, it looks like that. I'm like, there's some days that I feel like a potato. Does it ruin my day? No. Did it used to? Yes. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's like getting your emotional well-being in check, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's like to recognize that you're going to have various different emotions through the day. You're going to eat differently during some during different times of the month. You're going to choose different foods. You're going to, um, going back to the lipedema, just because I'm intrigued by for my own kind of,
Yeah.
you mentioned having a couple of clients. How have you found treating them? Obviously, confidential conversation, but how have you found kind of what's been the difference in treating them?
So one of them's quite new, so it's just come up, so we're only at the start of the journey. The other
Mm.
one is been with me probably about a month now, and whereas like she goes to the GP for obviously to help manage well, there's no real treatment, is there?
No,
So she
no,
goes to
it's
the
just a
GP for like
blessing. It's a blessing from God that you
there's
that you
like
have more fat cells than you need. Yeah.
yeah, not enough research behind it, not enough
No, nothing.
treatment,
There's no research.
no
Like
research.
I was probably 14 when I first went to the GP about something else, and I had lots of. There's a definite link between hormones and lipedema, and so I got stuck on the pill at 14, and my body just went whoosh and just grew exponentially, and I think when you start to break down all of those kind of like cycles, it's like where did this come from? Where did it start? How is it? And so my body shape changed and I believe that was part of the condition and then I kind of eventually was diagnosed probably 15 years ago the first time, but I had to do the research and I had to take it to my doctor. And I've been blessed with three things in my life. PMDD was one of them, premenstrual dysphoric disorder.
Yeah.
So it's like take PMT and ramp it up to I'm going to murder someone level.
Yeah.
Um, which I had a hysterectomy. Fibromyalgia back in the day, 27 years ago, that no one knew anything about, and lipedema. So it's been my journey to kind of
Oh wow.
educate the medical profession. But also I just got bored of trying. It's
Yeah.
like, and then this one, you'll love this one. I had a kind of what they call a lipoma. So there was this
Oh
thing
yeah.
kind of come up in my tummy, and I was like, "Is it a hernia? What is it?" And I went to the specialist, And the specialist basically said, I'm going to do your BMI. And so my BMI is going to be really high. I'm just going to let you know now I've got lipedema, like my BMI will be super high. Anyway, he did my BMI and he did the scan ultrasound and he came back and he said, well, look, he said, to be fair, he said, I don't, it's not a hernia. He said, but even if was a hernia, you're way too overweight for me to do any treatment anyway. And
Oh.
he said, what I'm going to recommend to your doctor is he sends you for bariatric surgery.
No, like I hear this so much from women as well that they go to the doctor for help and they're like, well, you need to lose weight first. You need to lose weight. And it's like, that's not the issue. Like,
And I can't, like, you could give me bariatric surgery. It
yeah.
wouldn't make any difference unless you give me liposuction, which you will not do
Mm,
on the NHS. There is nothing that you can do. And it's painful. Like, it's like
yeah.
carrying this body around is painful. And the reason I eat the way I eat and I have a really low anti-inflammatory diet and I do the things that I do is
Yeah.
for that medical condition. But it is a medical condition,
Yeah, of
you
course it
know?
is. But they won't see it as that. They see it as cosmetic, don't they? The treatment.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's like, no, it's actually caused me pain. And it's caused,
Yeah.
yeah, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully things change. Like, starting to do more research about what PCOS if they've just changed like to
Yeah.
PMOD, is it that they've tried like no PD, oh, I don't
PMDD.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've like changed it PCOS now to that because they're doing more research around it and hopefully more things get done. But like to the answer to your question, um, obviously I've got like I can't give like actual treatment or anything. I'm not trained to do so with that. But what I can do is help with, well, one of my clients she has emotional eating issues, might be due to her like how she feels in her body. So I work on the emotional eating side
Oh.
and I also work on her body, like how the body acceptance piece as well. So that's what I can do for my clients. Obviously I can't fix
Mm.
the lipedema, but I can help with those side of things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
tell me, you said you've got a group starting on Monday. The good timing that
Yes.
we just jumped on today. Look at that. Well, tell me a bit about that. What do you do with the group?
So I've got, yes, I do both one-to-one coaching and I do group coaching. So my group coaching, I've got a new round starting on Monday, the 6th of July. And this is my Misfit Club, it's
I
called.
love that. I really love that.
So Misfit Club, and it's to do with breaking yo-yo diets, yo-yo cycles, that all or nothing thinking. So I put all my clients together in a WhatsApp group. So they all talk to each other. They all like talking last night actually about lipedema, like they cancelled each other. But they all talk to each other about that different subjects. But I have like an app, got on-demand workouts, home workouts, gym workouts for different levels. I help with nutrition. Don't have to track, but I have a food journal option and guidance around nutrition. So like the fundamentals of nutrition, how to help like break away from tracking completely, all that side. But the biggest part of it is the mindset coaching course that I do. So it helps with like emotional eating, how to break perfectionism, like how to break that all or nothing, how to stop labeling foods as good and bad. Like, so all the stuff that actually keeps you stuck in that cycle, that's all done on the
Yeah.
mindset side. So it's a great course. 6 weeks, that's all it is. Um, and that 6 weeks is focused on just breaking that cycle for good. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. If I didn't have a crazy 6 weeks coming up, I'd be jumping in there with you. Um,
I run it yeah, every time I run it like 6 weeks, 2 week break, then another 6 weeks again. So
okay, so you
quite
run them
often.
really regularly.
Yeah, yes.
Cool.
And then on my one-to-one coaching is a little bit different. So that starts whenever, like whenever you're ready. But that's more in depth. So I dive more, like we have one-to-one calls, we do monthly reviews. I do like this goal setting, which is like diving into the whys behind your goals, like rather than smart. I don't like smart goals. So,
No.
but also we dive into
Smart
like
goals just mean you're going to get it wrong and you're never going to get there, you
yeah.
know? There's nothing
Yeah.
smart about that.
So I dive into like the deep reasons why that goal actually means something to you. And then I do an identity piece, like working on through your identity, like letting go of maybe past identity, like holding on to maybe why that things aren't working, values, go through like much deeper in the mindset side. So I go like, oh, what have I got in there? Like time, I ever go with like time management, how to honor your energy, like loads of stuff, like
Okay.
basically.
Brilliant.
I love it. Limiting beliefs. I dive deep into it because yes, I do the exercise, yes, I do the nutrition, but to me, like I said before, that mindset piece is the missing links. It's the biggest part of my coaching, definitely.
Amazing. I remember speaking to somebody years and years ago. He was a hypnotherapist, And he said to me, okay, Laura, so we weren't having a session. He just said, let me just put something to you. He said, when was the last time you were your ideal weight? And I was like, I was probably 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
have no idea when my ideal weight. He said, well, just let's think about it. And I said, okay. So I lost loads of weight before I went to the Middle East. And,
Yeah.
he was like, so tell me about that time. And I was like, well, I was in a really unhappy marriage. It was really violent. It was really this, it was really that. And he went, okay, great. He said, so can you imagine your subconscious wanting you even to go back
Mm,
there? And I was like, wow, like I hadn't even thought that like that there's a subconscious kind of patterning there that's like,
yeah.
that's not safe. So why would you want to go back there, you know? It's
Yeah.
like so,
Protection.
yeah, it's such a
Yeah.
thing, you
Comes
know?
up, it comes up in conversations I have with other women actually that have gone through, yeah, difficult periods of their life and they were a
Yeah.
certain size and their body's like, yeah, they're like, I don't want to get back to that, like subconsciously,
Yeah.
like your body's trying to protect you.
Totally. And I think the reason I lost so much weight at that time was obviously the degree of stress that I was under, but
Yeah.
also that was when I first started to look at food allergies and intolerances and
Yeah.
I literally cut out pretty much everything and I was like so restricted. Because of course you lost weight. You like weren't eating. Do you know what I mean? Like, I also wasn't healthy, had no energy, needed to sleep all the time, So it's like we don't look at that whole picture. So yeah, I love it. I love what you do. I love what you stand for. I love your Instagram page. Just makes me
Thank
smile
you.
because it's like that's the other piece I think is like that not being afraid to say what other people aren't saying.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bit that I feel I'm definitely coming into my I don't give a fuck era. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, enough now. We've got to stand in our own power and be able to say exactly what's going on, and be
That.
really real.
Yeah. Here for that. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks, my love. Thanks for hanging out. I
That's
love
all
it when
right.
I look at my phone. It's 1551, 1551. It's like these little
Oh,
moments
nice.
they make me chuckle. Thanks so much. And thank you to everyone who's watched us and been hanging out with us for a little while. We will see you again around the kitchen table soon. And I will put all Becky's details into the chat notes. You can find them there. And I'll speak soon. Lots of love.
Bye.